if you don't know, Diary of a Wimpy Kid has just released a couple weeks ago their latest, so come and get it. Next, we have book 2 in the AstroNuts series. This works probably for sort of 3rd grade and up. It's heavily illustrated. It's 4 characters that have gone in search of a planet that their people need to find. Their planet's no longer able to be inhabited. So this is the water planet, book 2. Next, we have Becoming Brianna. If you have any fans of Invisible Emmy, Positively Izzy, or Just Jamie, you'll want to pick this one up. Also illustrated. Book, the 4th one. Next, we have Shah. This is the 3rd book in the Indian mythology series that's under the Rick Riordan imprint. Much like his Percy Jackson, it takes mythologies from various cultures around the world, and so this is book 3 in the Shah series. Tristan Strong. We loved the first book. This is book 2. It focuses on African-American mythologies, the Anansi, etc. And this is Tristan Strong Destroys the World. This one is also in the Rick Riordan Presents imprint. Keeper of the Lost Cities, book 8.5. This is in the same universe, but it's from the perspective of a slightly different character than your fans are used to. It's a doorstop, but they'll tear through it in no time. Just came out a couple weeks ago. And now, this is not only book 3 in a series, but it also happens to be one of my favorite books of the year. If you don't know the Nevermore series, I hope that you look it up. This is Holocaust, book 3. Jessica Townsend is from Australia. Hopefully there will be 7 books. And this book and series touches me in my Harry Potter place in a way that nothing else has since then. So please come and check it out. And then finally, speaking of Harry, I had to let you know about this amazing new version of Sorcerer's Stone that is illustrated by a design group that takes it to a whole different level. It's the full story with illustrations and things. These are fully movable pieces. These fun dimensional illustrations run throughout the book as well. I think for any Harry Potter fan of any age, this is going to be a fantastic holiday gift. Next, Jacqueline Woodson is the most prolific author around. Her latest, Before the Ever After, definitely works for middle grade. She does a lot of teen as well. She writes for adults. And this one is in verse. I'm a huge fan of the verse novel. And if you have any fans of the book The Crossover, when that came out, Kwame Alexander, this is the next read for them. It's a boy whose father was a famous football player. He was a tight end, one of the best in the league, and he starts experiencing mental conditions, increased aggression, memory loss, trouble with words, and it's set in the 80s, I believe, 80s, 90s, before we had as much knowledge about sort of the mental disease that comes with long-term concussions. Ultimately, though, it's a story about a boy and his father and the love that the two of them share. Great one. One of my very favorite middle grade novels of the year is the 3rd book by Lauren Wolk. It's called Echo Mountain. She wrote Wolf Hollow, followed by Beyond the Bright Sea. And this one is set in Depression era. A family has to leave their home, and they travel to a mountain to build a cabin and a new life. So it's mom, dad, older sister, younger brother, and our main character, who is... she really discovers that she's a mountain girl. She's out a lot, learning about the plants, finding out about the animals, helping her dad build the cabin. One day he has a terrible accident and he's in a coma. And so the family really needs to dig deep and figure out how they're going to survive. She ends up befriending the hag that's up on the mountain and finding out so much about not only who that woman is, but her connections to our main character's family. It's gorgeously written and just a great example, not only of family structure, but of economic inequality and how to keep going in the face of hardship. And then finally, a really very special book that is not for everyone. It's called Cloudhopper. Beth Kephart is actually known for her young adult fiction. She's won awards, and this is really her first foray into slightly younger writing, but I still want to say this one is, 11 and up. It is about 3 friends, all of whom are not quite orphans, but live in very alternate family structures, or some of them have their parents missing, and they live around sort of an airport, a local airport. And one day they see a cloudhopper, which is essentially a hot air balloon for one person. And they watch this cloudhopper, and then they watch the storm approaching, and the hopper goes down. And so they run and they find the hopper, but no one knows who the hopper is. She's a young girl, and presumably doesn't speak English, and is sent off to the hospital, and they take it upon themselves to figure out who she is and try and find out how they can get her back to her rightful place. It's a beautiful sort of study of immigration, of race in America, of family structure, of who is important and what is important. It ends beautifully. There are also some gorgeous illustrations, not many, but some really pretty illustrations that help us get to know the characters and who they are. The characters are all sort of teens, like 12 to 16 or so. Some of them live in the airplane hangar, some are adopted. Our main character lives with her grandmother because her mom and dad took off as well. But the families and how they support each other it's really heartwarming. So that's a special one. Thank you.
One of the books I liked, a personal favorite of mine, was this one, Turtle Boy. This is the story of a kid getting ready. He's coming up on his bar mitzvah, 12 or 13 years old, and doesn't have a whole lot of friends he hangs out with, and his rabbi gives him a project to hang out with a kid who's currently in the hospital as part of his bar mitzvah prep. And it's the story of their friendship, and it's also got a lot of stuff about pond turtles that live out behind his school. This one, by Roseanne Perry, Whale in the Wild, is a great book. This is the same author who last year wrote A Wolf Called Wander, which was one of my favorite books. It was so good. This one is about a whale, and it's a fiction book that's basically telling you the story of these wild animals kind of from their own viewpoint in their heads. For those of you who love the Black Panther stuff, we have Shuri, which is written by Nick Stone, who's a great writer, so amazing. We also have another middle grade book by Nick Stone up here. This one's called Clean Getaway. This is an adventure book that she wrote, which is about a boy and his grandma, and I would say it's almost like they're running away from home. It's a great adventure, a really good story. Nick Stone is one of my favorite writers. Kelly Yang wrote Front Desk, and this is her second book now called 3 Keys. Front Desk was the story of a girl who moves to the United States with her family from China, and they're living in Los Angeles and working at a motel. And then this book, 3 Keys, is continuing on their adventures as she's going to school and working at the motel. If you haven't read Front Desk first, get that one and read it first, and then read 3 Keys. Great book. New book by Kwame Alexander, written together with James Patterson, Becoming Muhammad Ali. And this one is written in 2 points of view. One is childhood Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay, his best friend, sort of telling the story, and that's written in regular text. And then part of the story is in Muhammad Ali's voice, and that's the part Kwame Alexander wrote, and it's written in verse. Really good book. It reads kind of like a biography, but it's fiction, because they researched Muhammad Ali's life, but have kind of made up the stories from that research. Another sports book is Anna on the Edge. This is a new writer, AJ Sass, and they're writing a story that's set in the world of figure skating. I'm not sure if you can see the cover there. And Anna this is also cool, it's set locally. So Anna lives in San Francisco, and is beginning to train, switching from the San Francisco ice rink over to the Oakland ice rink, because their coaches moved to Oakland. And
Hi all, this is Catherine. I'm one of the youth lit specialists over at the Books Inc. in Laurel Village. I'm coming to you today with a recommendation for middle grade. Typically middle grade is anywhere from 8 to 12. I'm going to go ahead and recommend this next title for 10 and up. Just a little more intense. Some of the scenes are a little more violent than some of the other books out there. But this one is Lin Tang and the Pirate Queen. It's a wonderful kick-butt girl who wants to be a pirate. She lives on a farm in a made-up world, so it's high fantasy. And she has always dreamed about being a pirate, and she meets up with the Pirate Queen who takes her away on this adventure. It's absolutely wonderful, stunning descriptions of these mythological creatures. So at the start of each chapter is a guide to each mythological creature that she's going to find. So if you have fans of Percy Jackson or things like that, it's perfect for that. I really adore it. Definitely 10 and up. If you have any more questions, you can always find me at Books Inc. in Laurel Village. Thanks, guys!
DK, The Mysteries of the Universe. This is a $20 hardcover that is chock full of information about our planet, the solar system that our planet's in, the galaxy that our solar system is in, called the Milky Way. That's a picture of it right there, as well as other interstellar objects in the farthest reaches of the universe. Now, if you're interested in astronomy, which is the study of stars, or astrophysics, which looks at how the universe was created and what rules apply to it, then DK Mysteries of the Universe is a good pickup for you.